Going live.
American Community 104.7 FM, AM 1350, WLOU Louisville, the People Station. The following program is paid for by The Tipping Point.
You are listening to The Tipping Point Show with your host, Mr. Just Ask Joe, John Yeah. Right here on WLOU. Stream it live on Facebook and WLOU online.
All right. Welcome back once again to another episode of the Tipping Point Morning Show. It is yours truly, Mr. Just Ask Joe, as well as my brother from another mother, brother John Ya, Esoteric Concepts. Brother, how you doing today?
I am absolutely wonderful, as best as I could be this morning. How about yourself, brother?
Man, I'm fantastic, as best as I can be. Well, you know what? I take that back. I can be even better, but that's the reason why I'm drinking this beautiful green drink right now.
That's what's up.
I'm trying to get to my better.
Yeah.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. I tell you what, man. I've been hitting the juicing a lot harder here lately, and it made me think about the fact that there's no excuse for not being able to focus on your health. And when I say that, the juice, I bought two juices from Goodwill. They were $9 a piece.
Wow.
Now these juices, both, one was a Waring Pro, which is a good brand, and the other one was a Jack LaLanne juicer. I'm sure in their prime, they were sold for way more than $9 each.
Yes, they were.
They still work fantastic. They still work great, and they do the job. I think that this is a beginning for someone who, maybe you don't have $400 to spend on a Vitamix Whole Foods juicing machine where you get to keep everything and blend it up. But this juice extractor, bro, $9 a piece for two of them. It doesn't get any better price wise, and being able to do that, man, just to start out, to get yourself moving in that direction of health and wellness, it's priceless, because either you're gonna pay the money now and live a full amazing life, or you're gonna pay the money later in healthcare costs and an unvalued life or devalued life as you're dealing with health and wellness. So,
I don't know if people really understand the benefits of juicing. I know I'm sure everyone have heard of juicing, but a lot of people don't understand the benefits of juicing and how it is for your health. One of the things juicing does, different from smoothies, juicing is absolutely great for detoxing if you're going through a fast and you want to still take in nutrients, but you want to stop your digestive system from working. When you slow down your digestive system, that process, then now your body can focus on healing. Right. And so when you're juicing just allow the nutrients to be absorbed right into the walls of your intestines and go right into the bloodstream. It doesn't have to be digested or broken down. And that's the beauty of juicing. Also, in it, where there are certain vegetables and fruits you can't mix together when you do a smoothie, but you can juice them together because you're only extracting the liquid from the food.
Exactly. And it's amazing when you think about that. Folks, your intestinal tract are mucous membranes. Mucous membranes means that they absorb, and like you said, they hit the bloodstream right away. So drinking 100% bioavailable juice like this, you're going to absorb it right into your bloodstream. But think about that. The toxic things that people drink and eat at times as they digest, yet and still, that still is the same. Your intestinal tract is mucous membranes. You're flooding the bloodstream with toxic synthetic chemicals and ingredients as you eat that garbage and drink that garbage. throughout the day. So you can either flood your bloodstream with something great, you can flood your bloodstream with something terrible. Hey, I'm a believer in 80-20, 80% of what you should be doing, maybe indulge a little bit in 20% of what you shouldn't be doing. But ultimately, folks, this is just one easy and inexpensive way, $8, $9 a piece, to go ahead and get yourself some healthy juice in your life. But that's been my week, man. We've had some amazing, some kind of wild things going on this week. We had we would be remiss to not talk about the shooting that happened at the bus stop here recently. We talk about positive things on this show, so I don't want to dwell too much on this, but we'll talk about some mindset here. But when you think about this, and shout out to BizBuzz right now on social media, appreciate you. When you think about this shooting, man, a bus stop, bro. Now, I'm perplexed about this because I'm looking at it and I'm saying, okay, they done found the supposed Jeep that was involved. They done set it on fire. Somebody done set it on fire. That don't sound like some regular stuff right there. That don't sound like just a regular average person that got up and said, I got a beef with somebody, I'm gonna go shoot them and and then bounce. Goodness gracious. I don't even know really what to say about this, but it's crazy to think about the idea that there's people malicious enough out there to go and shoot up a bus stop. But then again, it's crazy to think about the idea that there's people malicious enough to go fly a plane into a building, right? No matter how much of a conspiracy theory may be revolving around the 9/11 attacks, some people died regardless. Either way, it's crazy to think about the mindset of people that would take time out of their day to focus on killing in a mass manner like this. There's another shooting that happened nearby in Tennessee. What is it? I think it's Collierville County or something like that, Tennessee. But it was at a Kroger's. That happened this week, I believe, and that killed one person, injured 14. That's a fortunate situation in a sense when you start talking about that. Killed one person, injured 14 others. But the story behind it, just crazy. What do you say to any of this stuff, man? The mindset, the thought pattern of people that make a decision to get up and go do mass killings and shootings like this.
The one that happened in Louisville is the one I'm most concerned about and put more thought to, specifically kids on a bus stop. Whatever's going on, and I haven't heard all the information. I don't want to guess anything, and I don't want to point to the usual suspects, us killing us. But I would say that there is definitely something going on with our mentality of what's happening here. It seems that if there's some beef going on with some children, we go to the extreme to where we'll risk other people's lives to maybe get one individual, if that makes sense. And so what it is we have a disregard for human life, and specifically children. And my heart goes out to the parents of that bus stop, first of all, because I'm sure that scared the hell out of them. But my heart goes out to all parents who are worried about their children leaving the home in the morning, early in the morning, you thinking they're going to be safe, getting on the bus stop getting to a bus stop to wait on the bus to be taken to school. I can only imagine a parent on their way to work and have to worry about that. I'm sure parents are reconsidering not even allowing their children get on the bus and taking their children to school in the first place. I could only imagine, but it's scary. It's something that needs to be looked into, and we need to look into the mentality of how we think towards each other. Specifically children. I am aware that if they are teenagers, I am aware that there are teenage boys could be into things in these streets that can result in them getting killed or someone having beef with. And the person they having beef with don't care about any rules. In other words, when you're coming to kill somebody, there is no rules. When gang members come to shoot up your house, gang members come to do a drive-by, there is no rules, because the bullet, they don't put a name on the bullet, say this bullet, you only go for this person. No, they just shoot up anything, and anybody can suffer the consequences. That's the mental sad part, that the anger becomes so heightened that you don't care who else you kill trying to get to the person you're trying to kill. And I think that's the problem. But my heart goes off to all the parents who are raising good kids, whose children are not involved in nothing in the streets, and trying to do their best to get their I would be seriously worried to the point to where I'd be standing on that bus stop with her, or I'd just take her myself.
Man, I don't know what to say. I mean, I don't know. I'm gonna be honest with you, and I know this is probably some maybe some lower level, lower frequency thinking, but I just feel like if it was my child, that by that afternoon, evening, there would be, man, I would be doing a shakedown myself in the hood, everywhere. I'd be in the police's face. You know, I don't. But again, you know, until you in that situation, my heart goes out, you know, to the family of the. I think it was only one death, which was on site, and there was a couple other injuries, and I believe that those other two have survived, if I'm correct. But you know, my heart goes out because now those kids are gonna be dealing with that thought process for the rest of their lives, man. I mean, they're gonna have to deal with that trauma every time a vehicle screeches. You know, every time a vehicle stops suddenly. You know, a gray vehicle that pulls up nearby. You know, I mean, this is just tough. And you know, this is the type of stuff. I mean, I'm praying that, you know, I'm hoping that the family gets you know, therapy and all of that good stuff, because the kids are gonna need it. The family's gonna need it to help deal with them just the same. Let me give a quick shout out to you got Vanessa Simagon. Shout out to you, sis. Frank Stoner, brother, shout out. You know, I was at his spot this week, and I'll talk about that later. At Health Daddy Wow. Layla, the educator Hampton, shout out to you, sis. We appreciate you. With all that in mind, shout out Phyllis Meyer. We appreciate you just the same. But again, you know, my heart goes out to the families and everything, man, because that's just a tough situation. Even when we talk about that Collierville, Tennessee, another mass shooting at a Kroger, yet again. So, you know, these things, you know, I don't understand. We're trying to, at least I think that we're trying to. Are we trying to here in America, John? Are we trying to move towards unity? Is that something that we're really trying to do, or are we just creating more division, especially as we talk about COVID and these masks?
Yeah, we are divided. We're the most divided community I could only imagine, even in my coming up in the 60s and the 70s. You know, it's very interesting. Let me tell you something that always comes up when you talk about wealth and Black people's wealth. Do you know there's only one person, one type of people concerned with other Black people getting wealthy? You know, it's other Black people. You know, Black people are concerned with Black people who's got wealth, what they do with their money. You don't find white people concerned about white people who are got wealth and what they do with their money. So Black people, us as a people, we are concerned about other Black people's wealth, and we'll say, well, what are you doing? And so if a Black person meaningly moves out the hood because he got a little money, guess who criticizes them? Other black people. You know, if a white person in the hood gets money and move out the hood, nobody criticizes them. The white community do not criticize them and say, no, come on back with us. No, come on back. You know, and there's this cycle that we're living in, as though we are afraid to say, I don't want to live in that neighborhood. I don't want to raise my kids there. I'm sorry. I'm sorry if you think you cannot get out of the hood. I'm sorry if you think you cannot. But don't go and try to blame the one that gets his family out of that hood. And we are so quick to call that person an Uncle Tom, you sell out. You know, why would a person who's gaining wealth stay in a condition amongst people who don't appreciate wealth or don't appreciate property? It don't make sense. So we are our biggest demise. We really hurt each other in this sense. And it's your bouginess. Wow, yes, bougie. And this is where
we just to speak to that real quick, you know, we're the only people that sit there and we got names for each other. We the only ones here calling each other names. I was on Clubhouse last night and I was listening to some people talking about the mainstream ADOS community and how they're toxic, and they were talking about the ADOS community in a negative manner. But, you know, it was always clowns and, you know, this, that, and the other. It's like we got all these names for each other. We can't just sit and state our piece and move on. You know, like shout out to Kari Muhammad. We hate us. I mean, that's a fact. You know, and the sad part about it, look, we know where it came from. Okay, we know how it got started, folks. We were taught to hate each other. We were taught to hate ourselves. But it's gonna have to start somewhere where you make a decision to say, you know what, today I'm not gonna call everybody I see a nigga. Cause you know, these days, y'all MFers is calling white people niggas too, you know, and that's just some of y'all doing it in a term of endearment. That's my name. Really? You just done passed it back to him so that he can call it back to you again. Man, you just love going back in time to when that was legal and okay. So you just gonna let them call you. I mean, man, either way, we have to get to a point, because I'm about to sit here and say some things and forget that I'm on the radio, but we have to get to a point to where we make a decision to little by little. It ain't got to happen overnight, folks, but you got to start moving towards it. You know, wake up in the morning and say, today I'm gonna call every brother and sister that I see a king or a queen. You know, fellas, you know, make a day where you decide, you know, I'm gonna open up the doors for all the women that I come in contact with, to open the door for. Start with the women in your own home. You know, I'd be damned if I let my daughter open up the door herself most of the time. I mean, you know, she getting in the car, I'm gonna open the door for her, you know, but it's just ridiculous that we have to, it can be little by little, folks. We got to start somewhere.
Well, yeah, one of the things that starts is raising the value of our individual self. Number one thing to do is you have to raise your individual self, meaning that you have to see yourself better than where you see yourself. Then you also, that accumulates an aura around you. If you raise the level of who you think you are, that creates an aura. Guess what that does for your kids and those around you? You know, if you raise yourself in that era. And so that's why you have kids today, and it's coming from their parents, don't have any value of themselves. So if they don't have value of themselves, it's obvious they won't have value of another. You know, it is hard to kill another person that you think is a god. It's hard if you see yourself as a god. If you see yourself as a king, you'll see all other men a king. And it's hard unless you somehow degrade yourself and you feel yourself low, then you'll see everybody else as low. So one of the number one thing is we have to raise our value of who we think we are. We have to get away from this mentality. Even when we call ourselves niggas, or call, not mean individual self, not call someone look like you. We call ourselves these terms. I'm a bad nigga. We use these terms against ourselves, right? And so what does that do? That brings down our vibration of who we are.
Absolutely. Now, did I hear we got a caller on the line?
No, sir. I'm back, fellas. I'm back.
Okay. All right. Good stuff. Good stuff. All right. So, when you think about that, man, it's amazing when you think about that. And I would just want to let people know, 502-776-1350. You can call in. We got some things we're going to go through today as well, but you can call in 502-776-1350. If you have a phone and you're sitting on Mars right now, you can call in 502-776-1350. But and I'll give you an example of how that works, right? So I've actually done it. I feel like I'm in a science experiment right now, right? So I got a lady friend. I've been sitting there and I've been encouraging her in a very positive and intentional manner, as I call her queen, right? So now she is coming back to me. She's like, I'm looking at people these days and they just got these mad faces on and this, that, and the other, and blah, 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 right? So she can see that. And then I said to her, so now you see what you used to look like. And she's like, yeah, I used to be like that. I used to have that, because now she's happy. Now she's vibrant because she has somebody that's encouraging her in a more positive manner, that is actually speaking life into her and sees her for who she really is, as opposed to who she had dumbed herself down to be in past years, right? So when you look at that, man, again, self-worth, love, value, these are things that you can be intentional about. And it starts right there in your home. Start speaking to your kids with self-worth, love, and value. Give them more to reach for, simply as you speak to them. If you are talking down, if you're talking down to your kids, folks, then who are you raising them up to be? Sis said that that was on the show before. Hey, we got a caller on the line. Welcome to the Tipping Point Morning Show. Welcome, caller. What's on your mind?
Well, I got a couple of things I want to elaborate. I was listening to you when you said, why would anyone want to stay in the community where people do not value their property? And I definitely understand what you're saying about that. And I'm not mad at nobody for moving out of the hood. But I just want to say, as a person that chooses to live in the hood, I stay because I want the kids to see somebody living a normal life and progressing. I choose to stay in the hood, put money in my property, and make my property value go up, walk in and out of my for the children in my neighborhood, so that they can see. My rationalization behind that is, if everyone that what we call make it move out of the hood, then who does the children have to look at other than the gangbangers and the thugs? And so I choose to stay and try to lift up the hood where my people are. But I'm not mad at no one for not choosing to do it. Please make sure you understand that's what I'm saying. Exactly. The other thing that I wanted to comment on was about the killing of a young man at the bus stop. And people are all on Facebook talking about, well, we want to blame the system for everything. Man. Okay? Well, the kids are doing this because they say that the kids don't have anything to do. And that's just simply not true. Yep. Okay? This feeling that these kids are doing, it's not because they are bored and don't have anything to do. They have more than we ever dreamed of having as kids. These kids that are wreaking havoc on the community, they're not killing their peers and others because they need somewhere to go. When people put entertainment systems in West End, you know what happened to them? Our children go in there and tear it up. Do you remember the movie theater that was on 12th Street?
Yes.
It started put on 12th Street years ago. Yes. They went in there and tore it up. They was letting all their family and friends in. They was stealing all the product to the place. Literally, we put the place literally out of business. We won't follow the rules when people put stuff in the West End.
And that definitely comes.
I mean, it's just
that right there definitely comes from some home training or lack thereof right there. So that right there, if we're gonna point a finger of blame, we got to blame
we gotta stop blaming the system for everything. These little gangbangers is out here wreaking havoc on the. This is about what's happening in the home and what's not happening in the home.
Absolutely.
Okay? They wreaking havoc on the community because they run their home and they're coming out here now running the street. They haven't been taught the value of life, so they don't value their life. So they surely don't value yours. They don't watch their mama go in and out with a different man every 6 months. Dead in front of them. They go in the store when they was children.
Let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a question. Now, did you ever have a wild life when you were younger?
I did have a wild life when I was younger. Absolutely, I had a wild life when I was younger. But there were just certain things that I did not do.
That's right.
Gotcha.
Definitely. Okay. Thank you, caller.
I was definitely. There were certain things, and let me tell you something. Our parents were not perfect. Okay,
that's right.
Our parents did stuff too. I'm 60. I'll be 60 years old on my birthday. My mother was not perfect, but what she did do, I didn't know it. I didn't see it. I put it all together after I got older. But there were just certain things that we didn't do. These kids are they saying everything in front of them. They doing everything in the front. There is no they being exposed to everything.
Absolutely.
So they're not being taught to respect women, elders. That's happening right now is about the home.
You absolutely right. You absolutely right. Queen Mother.
Darn thing.
Queen Mother. I want you to join us on, because it sounds like you on Facebook. Make sure you check us out at the Tipping Point Radio Show on Facebook. And listen, we got a lot of show to go through. You have touched on a lot. You're gonna give us a lot to talk about. I appreciate you. Thank you for calling in. We'll see you. Keep on listening.
Thank you so much for listening.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
I will.
Let me touch on something that's very interesting that she mentioned, and I want to clear that up. Yeah, she laid some stuff down, right? Yeah. And totally 100% right. Now let's talk about this part about people who get wealth and moving out the hood. Now it's very interesting because I'm very close to that.
I'll say, John, that she brought up the other side that I actually was going to bring up just the same about that, because I believe about that too. People leave out the hood, then, and the other side of the on the other side of railroad tracks, Bob and Tim, walk to the mailbox and see each other at the mailbox, and they might talk about their day, and so information is shared and passed right there. Well, that don't happen, in the hood. Ain't nobody walking to the mailbox and talking about their day because, especially if you go to Louisville's West End, they supply the Marriott and all these other places with damn near 100% of all their temporary workers are right there, right? So they're not going to the mailbox to talk about finances, life insurance, or anything like that. That conversation is not being had over there. It's being had on the other side of railroad tracks as people moved out the hood to create a better life. But go ahead, man. You
listen. The thing about this moving out the hood is very interesting. I remember trenched in the hood, in the trenches, and my brother, this was I believe in the 80s. He built a house out Hirschborn. Before Hirschborn was Hirschborn today, it was a lot of farmland. And I remember criticizing my brother. Man, I criticized him, told him, man, why don't you take that money and build the hood up, man, buy you a home here, And so he said to me, he said that all he wants to do is, and we talking in the 80s, he said, all I want to do is raise my children in a safe neighborhood. That's all he said, right? And I criticized him. And when I grew up and I had a daughter, I thought the exact same thing. I'm not raising my daughter down here. Now, here's what she said. It's very interesting. I know a couple of people that was invested in that theater on Broadway. Mm-hmm. And so what you're telling a person to do is take their wealth and risk it on buying property in the neighborhood where you know people don't value themselves. Yeah. So it's only obvious that I'm trying to build generational wealth. I'm not trying to put my wealth in a position so it can get torn down because some Negroes don't want me to have that wealth. So no, I'm more concerned about my family and my legacy. For me to risk, it's obvious that when I was in the hood living down there, my car was broke into I don't know how many times. Where I'm at now, I have not had a break-in. The same as my business, the same as my home. My point is that some people want to remain in a lack mindset. If I can see it, it doesn't matter what color you are. I don't want to be in the company of someone with a lack mindset. You know why? Because a person with a lack mindset don't have any gratitude for their existence. And if they don't have any gratitude for their existence, they ain't going to have no gratitude for my existence. None. They're not going to care about what I build. They're not going to celebrate me. Look, black people don't celebrate you. Hey, look, I'm glad you got a business. Look, we only want to buy from you. We only buy from you when we're mad at white people. So, you know, we have a serious issue here. And why the hell should I waste my hard years of working hard to build a business and put it somewhere and risk it getting tore up because some Negroes are mad? That don't even make sense. And it make business sense.
Yeah. I mean, you know, especially when you're talking retail, yes. When you're talking manufacturing, there are hundreds of millions of dollars worth of manufacturing businesses in Louisville's West End. It's actually pretty interesting. I was driving through the West End the other day, and I just noticed how there's so many, manufacturing companies, and these are $1 million businesses. But when it comes to retail, you're gonna have that's a second thought right there to think about. And to her point, to what she was saying about people saying, pointing the blame at this situation, and it's the fact that the kids don't have nothing to do, this, that, and the other. That's an excuse. Okay, that's an excuse. And there's a reason why I asked her, did she have a wild life when she was younger? Excuse me, because I've seen in situations, and this, I'm not saying this to her. She sounds like a wonderful queen mother that is doing her thing, but I've seen situations where the mama acts wild and whatnot, and when she's younger, people see it or whatever, the kids see it growing up, and they perpetuate that same thing. Well, later the mama's done grown up, and now she has her head on right, going to church or whatever the case may be. She's saved and sanctified, but the kids are left with basically what she taught them. Right? The kids are left with that. And ultimately now they grow up and perpetuate the same nonsense from when she was younger, So it just has to be a point to where at some point we have to have more people that make a decision to do right by themselves, their family, and their community than not. We have to have more people to do that than not in order for things to change. In the time being, hey, I'm with you, bro. I'm not trying to be sitting in the hood. I don't want. I go. I still got my hood card. I can go. I was hanging out. I drove by Beach Terrace the other day. Old heads be sitting out there at the park still. I saw a couple people I knew. I stopped by, hung out with them. But just for a moment. I ain't trying to be there forever. Just for a moment.
Well, here's the thing, though. One of the things that's missing here is that we may move ourselves out the hood, but we don't turn our backs on the hood. We are always trying to elevate young kids. I have Layla's kids come to my warehouse once a year. I'm always trying to find something. I've got a program now we're bringing back with this, which is called a prison reform program that we're doing here at my company, where we're helping brothers coming out of prison.
Talk about that later. John,
yeah,
as well. I want to make sure we get that
real quick, what she said was important about women having these children and then letting men running in and out of their house. that is something she's talking about, the value in who we are as a people. She's right. And I'm sure she's a grandmother. And I'm sure, yes, she had her days. But here's the thing. The prize of what you can learn is from grandparents,
Man.
right? Because that's why they're called grand. They done did it all. So now they can teach you what not to do. And so that's why it's important.
Exactly.
I was glad she called in and she had a lot to say.
Absolutely. Caller, welcome to the Tipping Point Morning Show. Welcome to the show. What's on your mind?
Good. Hey, what's up? This is Uncle Me, Sean.
What's up, Uncle Me, Sean?
Y'all are all over this morning, man. Congratulations on the conversation. I felt the woman's, the earlier caller, the woman's frustration. And she said she's our age, John. Y'all, she thinks she's turning 60,
Yes.
So the problem is that as we were talking with Jay Has, I've been talking about this for the longest, man. We got the absence of men, husbands, and fathers in the home. Okay, the whole reason that we talked about the 5 principles of man up. You know, man up as an individual, man up as a provider, man up as a husband, man up as a father, and then when you get those 4 out the way, you can man up in your community. We're seeing it all over the place because of the lack of strong men in the household, man.
Yeah.
But I want to ask y'all something. Can y'all just answer this when we get off the air? When someone calls you and asks you, should someone snitch on whoever did that shooting in the community? And I blasted them and told them that they used the wrong word, snitch. I need to get y'all feedback. Does the word snitch apply to law-abiding people who are trying to protect themselves from crime, criminals, and individuals who's destroying our community? I need to hear y'all's point of view. The word snitch, is that our word if you're a law-abiding citizen in your community?
Well,
I can answer that for you.
Go ahead.
No, that is a criminal world word. That word belongs in the criminal world. The word snitch, to not be a snitch. The last place you want to be is known as a snitch in prison. The last place you want to be is known as a snitch in the hood. Hey, you got weed dealers won't mess with you if they think you a snitch. They ain't selling you no more weed, right? And so it is a hood word. It's a word that defines the lowest mindset that's out there in the street, to not snitch, right? And so it's a strong ass word. I'm gonna tell you, it's a strong word because it's a word that can separate you from all your so-called friends. Your friends would be like, oh, he's a snitch. I ain't telling him nothing. I'm not revealing to him. So that word is strong. It's a hood word. It's not a word for those who are law-abiding citizens until it comes at your doorstep. The worst criminal in the hood, if someone was to kill his mama, he's gonna look for some snitches to tell who did that. So it is a hypocrisy word, because until it hits their doorstep. When it hits their doorstep, now the person who's in the rules of snitching, now snitching don't apply no more. He's like, tell me who did this, right? So yeah, it depends on what shoes you wear.
Absolutely.
Hey, John, thank you I like the way you articulated and broke it down, because our listening audience needs to understand that the word snitch doesn't belong to law-abiding people. Okay?
No.
The word snitch only belongs to those people who's trying to get away from a crime or get their lessen their position and everything. But law-abiding people must stop calling yourself a snitch. Stop considering yourself a snitch, because that's what they use to keep you paralyzed in your community.
Now, most law-abiding citizens are afraid to tell because finger may be pointed back at them if they still live in the hood. So they'll keep their mouth shut because they don't want their house shot up, you see? So you got law-abiding citizens won't tell. They don't call it not snitching. They just said, I'm keeping my mouth shut. I ain't got nothing to do with that, because the last thing a law-abiding innocent person wants is their house shot up because they done told some stuff up the street.
And, but at the same time, I think about that and I say, that's the same law-abiding citizen that decided that they wanted to stay in the hood to help raise the hood up, right? So if that's the case, then guess what? You're gonna have to grow some cojones, and you're gonna have to be that quote unquote snitch. I can tell you right now, if I'm on the block and you messing with my property value, the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna come to your face. And if I need to be a snitch, then I'm gonna be a snitch. I can remember taking I can remember taking half a pound of weed back to a drug dealer from when my brother was trying to get into selling drugs, and I took it back to him and I threw it in his face, and I told him if he ever came around my brother again, that I was, I used some choice words with him. So, at some point, somebody gonna have to grow some cojones, and somebody gonna have to stand up.
Hey, Ben, you know what? I'm so glad you brought that up. Listen, my wife and I moved out of the West and took my family out of there, but I stayed there for 24 years. My wife just learned about a situation that she had no clue, but I handled it. We lived by some drug dealers. The little shorty, we lived by it. He had all types of people at his house all the time and everything. But, he know that I took care of my yard, took care of my house, took care of everything. Little shorty was there next door. And one morning, they would have a little thing, and these children run. They had friends that were running all over my darn yard, and everything, and all over my darn yard. Knocked over, messed up my wife's plants and everything. I came out the house, and I spoke specifically to the kids that were running up. One of my friends, the guys next door, sitting on the porch, guy said, "You talking to my kids? Who are you talking to my kids?" And I looked over and I said, "Look here, your children are running out. You sitting right there and you lost for them do it. And obviously you didn't know how to say anything to them. I'm telling you. I'll tell you what happened, man. The little guy that knew me, I had enough credibility with little shorty over there. He said, the young man, he said, "Look here, that's Mr. Me Short. Get your kids, man. Get your kids off his yard." And hey, man, Mr. Lee Shorn, I apologize. It won't happen again. Why is that story so important? Okay.
Hey.
They knew he had enough props to understand. We're here. That's Mr. Lee Shorn. That's his property. That's his thing. Back up, bro. Leave it alone. Okay. Why is it, John, you know what I'm doing with this, right? What happened? Little shorty said, "Let it. Lee Shorn don't play. That's his stuff. Back it up, leave it alone." I didn't have no problem with any of it. My house was broken in. I had little shorty taking snow off my porch and everything. Guys used to pull up the pants, everything. They knew they came past my house. Okay, that's Mr. Meat doing. What am I saying, John, y'all?
I don't know. What are you saying? You ain't taking it.
No, John, you know what I'm saying. I'm saying is that set the standard. So
set the standard. Yeah, that's right.
Now, they knew.
That's right.
They knew that Mr. Meshorn at this house, at this corner, at this perimeter, all right, leave. That we're just gonna have to leave. We ain't messing with that. And it was known. Okay, it was known.
Hey,
Meshorn, we gotta finish up our show.
Hey, Uncle Meshorn.
Go ahead,
we appreciate you, family.
Yes, sir.
All right. And that is the case. I mean, more men need to stand up. Think about it like this, folks. If you had snitched before, guess what? Maybe that shooter, if in fact there's somebody from the community, maybe that shooter wouldn't have did what they did this week at the bus stop, right? So again, that's where your quote unquote snitching plays a big part, is getting rid of the crime before it happens. Right. So those are things people gonna have to stand up. People gonna have to stop this. Oh, it ain't my problem. It is your problem, because either it's gonna be your problem now or it's gonna be your problem later, but it's gonna be your problem. When I was at 15th and Jefferson as a store manager at Family Dollar, they paid me $55 a year plus bonus. Right now, with that in mind, I'm sitting there. And my bonus is derived off of stolen goods and things of that nature. If things are coming up missing, that's messing with my bonus, right? So with that in mind, I sat there and I made sure that everybody understood that this store was not to be touched with. And I made sure of that in every manner possible. I did what I needed to do, right? So with that in mind, every other Family Dollar, Dollar General and around, which you know how it works in the West End of Louisville, there's like 10 of them over there. All of them got robbed by gunpoint at some point during my tenure. My store never did, right? Because I stood up. I didn't care who was calling me a snitch. I didn't care who was calling me a square. I didn't care this, that, and the. I didn't care about that. I don't care about it now. But my store did not get robbed by point. Every other store did, literally around me. So, I said that to say that men are gonna have to learn to stand up in the community and stop turning a blind eye to say, oh, don't worry about that. That don't involve us. Guess what? You may have to be a little bit proactive and go handle some stuff before it happens. It is what it is. But guess what? You're gonna have to stand up. People gonna have to stand up. And to what the lady was saying earlier, real quick, because I got a couple things we got to do. But real quick, to what she was saying earlier, she mentioned something about how people were pointing and saying, "Oh, it's because we don't have programs, because we don't have this, that, and the other. That's why the kids are doing this." I made a post. I said they, quote unquote, they need to put different businesses in the hood. ? They is you as soon as you realize your power and stop yelling for master to do it. Folks, I sat there and I watched that interview with people sitting there yelling and screaming, saying, y'all need to put businesses in over here. Y'all need to put more restaurants. Y'all need to, we got to go out the hood to eat and this. Bruh, you do it. Stop sitting there and waiting for other people to do it. We spend $6 trillion a year as a minority melanated people in this country. Guess what? We can do it. We just got to stop spending our money on BS. Hey, caller, you are on the line. Welcome to the Tipping Point Morning Show. Welcome to the show, caller. What's your name? What's going on? What's on your mind?
Good morning. This is Dolores again. I just wanted to say about the word snitch. First of all, we have got to replace. I think that's one of the dumbest words that we as a community ever embrace, because we have what criminals call snitch, law-abiding citizens call civic duty. It is your civic duty to help rid yourself of the people that are killing our children and bringing our property value down. And let me say, my home was broke in about 6 or 7 years ago. Okay, my home was broke in about 6 or 7 years ago, and I was so angry. They came in there, they stole everything. My grandson is a good kid. He goes to school, he does what he's supposed to do, and I reward him for it. They came in, they took all his new. It was at the beginning of school clothes. They took all the big screen TVs. They took a $4,000 bike. They hit me up really good. I strapped on my legal gun. I went looking for them. I found them on my bike. They had spray painted it, but the bike that they stole from me was a very expensive bike. It's the last thing that my husband gave me before he passed. That bike, when he bought that bike, it was a $1,500 bike. If you buy that bike, it's because.
Hey, Mr. Lewis, are you on Facebook? Hello? Mr. Lewis, can you hear me?
On in the dead spot, guys.
Okay. We have to let her go. I just want to invite her to our Facebook page, and she can come on in. We can bring her on in, but right now we have to move forward to what's next, because we're ready to close down.
Real quick, I got a giveaway I want to do real quick. All right, so y'all listen up real quick on Radio Land or online. Again, 502-776-1350 is the number. I'm gonna do the third caller to call in. I've got tickets to the Women in White Prayer Band. This is a Sunday church hat, pearls, and tea, women's fellowship tea party. This is sponsored by the Women in White Prayer Band and Sister to Sister, a hand up support group. Right now, folks, the third caller, 502-776-1350. Again, that's 502-776-1350. Third caller, call in. We're gonna need your name and your address. and your telephone number when you call in. I don't want you to say it on the air. We're going to get that off the air. But third caller, call in 502-776-1350. You'll get a ticket to this October 9th event from 2 to 6 p.m. at First Baptist Church of Middletown. Again, this is Sunday Church Hats, Pearls, and Tea. And this particular ticket is sponsored by Broadway Fashion at 1827 West Broadway. All right. This is a ticket that's sponsored and donated by Broadway Fashion, 1827 West Broadway. All right. So again, 502-776-1350, third caller. We will get you to say something on the line, and then we will go ahead and get your information off the line. But with that in mind, let's see here. I want to go ahead and
get our sponsors.
Yeah, I want to give a shout out to Health Daddy Wow LLC, folks. Health Daddy Wow. Look, I was just out there this week, man. And listen, those are not fake video footage or anything. Y'all seen him on the show, do video of his shop. That is real. All right. It looks just like that when you walk in, and it's absolutely awesome. The spot is amazing. I mean, you can literally just go in there and you'll learn stuff as you're there. You'll see stuff that you like, even when it comes to accessories and stuff like that. But healthdaddywow.net is where you can check them out. Again, healthdaddywow.net. Folks, he's at 1806 Ralph Avenue, Louisville, Kentucky, 40216. Again, that's 1806 Ralph Avenue, Louisville, Kentucky, 40216. That's 502-290-7697. You want to hit them up, 502-290-7697. That is healthdaddywow.net, home of the 100% plant-based herbs and supplements.
I got Valerie Ford. I got her name and her phone number. She's on the line.
All right, Valerie Ford, caller number 3. Valerie Ford, how you doing?
How you doing?
All right, fantastic, Valerie. We appreciate you calling in. You're caller number 3, and the tickets will call at the event. All right. So what you want to do is leave your name, address, and telephone number with Brother Jay has there, and we will go ahead and put that at the door there. And October 9th, 2 to 6 p.m., it is at the Middletown First Baptist Church of Middletown there at 11721 Main Street in Middletown, Kentucky. But we'll get all the information to you just the same. Just leave your name and at least your number with Brother Jay has. We appreciate it.
All right. I appreciate it. God bless.
All right. All right. All right now, folks. We also want to give a big shout out to Abibi Toomey Trading Company. Folks, they are home of the soap sticks and Saya Baba products, folks. They are in over 400 locations near you. This is incense, folks. They literally have some of the greatest incense and oils out there. And I mean, I've not met one person that was disappointed with either the Saya Baba or the Soap Sticks brand of products, folks. Again, SYABABA.com. You can check them out. Saya Baba Baby, SYABABA.com. That's Saya Baba, a BB Toomey Trading Company that is owned by yours truly, Brother John Yah. That's why we talk business, folks, because you got business owners sitting here. You can also go to justaskjoe.net whenever you get a chance. And if you want to book a time with me to talk anything from business, especially life insurance, folks, this is Life Insurance Awareness Month. And definitely you need to make sure, if your kid is a hoodlum, chances are they may die in the streets. Therefore, get some life insurance on them. Okay, it only makes sense.
Yeah, build you some wealth.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong. People, we act like as a community that there's something wrong with passing down money to the next generation. Come on, folks. No, if you know your kid is a hoodlum, I've got some clients. They call up and they be like, "Man, my kids is on drugs and all type of stuff. I got to get some life insurance on them." And they do it, and they go ahead and get it. And hey, when the worst becomes the worst, then there's nothing wrong with, number one, not having to do a GoFundMe account. to pay for it. And number two, being able to pass a little extra money down to maybe those person's kids who didn't deserve those parents. So with that in mind, folks, I also want to real quick, John, can you real quick, it's 9:55, can you real quick talk about this prison program that you used to do that you want to bring back out?
Yes, we got a prison, it's called Prison Reform Program that we have here at BB Toomey. What we used to do, and we're starting it back now, where an individual who comes out of prison, contact Khalid, brother name is Khalid. You can reach him at 502-224-1635. What we do here is that we will give him $100 package free to go out and into the streets and sell that $100 package. The way I used to sell incense on a corner, and just pick a corner and they'll sell the incense. You can make $100 in an hour, 2 hour period. If you take that $100 that we give you from the products and you come back to us, you can now take that $100, spend it with us, and now you can get $500 worth of products and go right back out there. Now, some people take that little $100 and they walk away, they don't come back. Some of them come back, buy products, and then they're able to make $500. So what we're trying to do is give you a hand up. If you just come out of prison and you can't, it's hard for you to get a job, we can put $100 in your pocket right now. You can either take it and run, not come back, or you can take that $100 and flip it with us to $500. And that's what it's called, the Prison Reform Program. Again, his number is 502-224-6135. His name is Khalid. Reach out to him and he will set you up.
Absolutely. That is awesome. Give that number one more time, man.
502-224-6135.
Folks, think about it. When you make the 500, you can come back and you spend $200 or $300, and now you got $1,500 worth of product that you can make there. So that is definitely a leg up, a step up. I also want to make sure I give a big shout out to godslivesmatter.com. Folks, they are another sponsor of ours. Again, godslivesmatter.com. You can check them out. They got some paraphernalia that you can purchase. Again, every life has infinite value. That's what God's Lives Matter stands for. Folks, we appreciate you tuning in to the Tipping Point Morning Show. This is yet another week. Next week, I got some more giveaways for you, but this is another week. This has been another episode. Brother Jay Has, we appreciate you, man, doing what you do for us. Again, check us out next week. Once again, right here, WLOUonline.com and 104.7 FM. Facebook, YouTube, all that good stuff. Check us out next week right here on the Tipping Point Morning Show. Peace, people.
Peace.
Over 70 years of serving the African American.
All right. Once again, folks, bada bing, bada boom, bada bam.
You are listening to The Tipping Point Show with your host, Mr. Just Ask Joe, John Yeh. Right here on WLOU. Stream it live on Facebook and WLOUonline.com. And now, The Tipping Point Show.
Folks, also make sure that you check out the Truth Be Told show coming up every Tuesday. You can check it out at WLLV.com, right? Every Tuesday morning, 9 a.m. And you can also check it out on 12:40 a.m. locally here in Louisville, Kentucky. But you can also check it out live on Facebook as well. Just go look for Truth with an E in it. The E stands for education. Truth Be Told. and you'll find the show there. You can probably hashtag it, and I'm sure you'll find it just the same.
All right, cue the music.
Cueing music.
Start the music.
Starting music.
And go.
It's the Truth Be Told show, where we place America first. Honoring those who America has forgotten. Listen in and unlearn to relearn. As we set the record straight. And now, your host of the Truth Be Told show, Mr. Just Ask Joe and Uncle Mishorn.
All right, cue the music.
Folks, I see a comment here and want to definitely jump on that. She says, I was listening to your show. I heard you talking about the effect that wild mama have on their children, but didn't hear you say anything about the absent fathers, and a lot of them choose to be absent by choice. What's up with that? You're right. I didn't say anything, and you're absolutely right. That is a true thing there. And you know what? There's two sides to all of that. Absolutely. Because when you start talking about that, you knew who that man was before you laid down with him, or at least you should have. Right. So and here's the thing. Why is it I make that comment and then all of a sudden we look for blame to point the finger elsewhere away from us? I get it. That's a problem nonetheless. And we need to talk about that because it's two people that came together to do something that they did not, obviously did not talk about before the fact, obviously did not do on purpose in most cases, right? So with that in mind, yes, we have a problem with, and that's something that we do talk about a lot. And Uncle Mishorn pointed that out when he called in as well, is talking about absent men in the community just the same, and that the evidence of men being absent in the community is all the bullshit that is going on, right? So when you talk about when Queen grandmother called in and she spoke about the kids tearing up the movie theater, right? That's absent father right there. You know, that's father not standing up. You know, when you see these kids acting out, acting foolish. I remember, what was it, last year? Was it last year in the pandemic where there was a video going around of a fight that happened up there at Indy's, and I mean, it was dudes involved in this fight, fighting this young female, and then one dude sitting there jumping on the girl's car, busted her back window, and there's a baby in the back seat, in the car seat in the car. You know, I mean, what kind of forgettish little, moron, is that? And what idiots are raising, that one right there? That's just ridiculous when I see stuff like that. But she's right. Absent fathers are to blame just as well. But again, don't whenever somebody points something out, in my opinion, don't sit there and always point the finger. The first thing that needs to happen is accountability. People need to take accountability for their actions, themselves, and say, you know what, that is something that is right. And as it pertains, because it almost sounds like she's saying, yeah, I'm that, but what about him? It almost sounds like that. I'm not saying that that's the case. I'm just saying it almost sounds like that. But appreciate you bringing that up because it is a good thing to talk about. What do you say about that, John?
She's absolutely right. But let me put it this way. It's very interesting. And this is the build up on what she's saying. This is very interesing. So and just real quick, John, you got a lot of people that's loving that prison reform program, man. You used to do it before. You're bringing it back out. So with that in mind, then you definitely, I know you're working on the website too for Saya Baba, right? Yeah, it's being revamped.
Okay, it's being revamped. So Uncle Mishorn is being revamped. So just give it a second. But you know how to get in touch with the manufacturer of the product. So if your wife wants to order some, then most definitely we can make that happen, Uncle Mishorn. All right. But you know, you got a lot of people that are loving that program, man, and I just want you to know that they're giving you a lot of praise when it comes to that. But go ahead and speak to this situation here.
Okay, so you know, with the lady that called in, she was talking about mothers having men running in and out of her bedroom and the children seeing it. She's absolutely right about that. And what this sister is talking about is very interesting because this goes to my point. And I've always said this. There is really no such thing as a no good woman. For every no good woman was made no good by some no good man.
No good man.
Even if it was her father being absent. Because here's why. Most women who choose loosely how to choose a man that end up just chasing her for sex, most of them, not all, but I'm going to tell you probably 99.9% of them, women who do that did not have a father, because women who grow up without a father grow up looking for that opposite love of that father in other men. And those other men take advantage of them for sex. If women who was raised by their father or have fathers in their life, these women walk differently than women who did not have a father. And it's proven. Women who did not have a father, most women who have babies in their teenage age did not have a father. This is just plain statistics. Women who did have a father wait a lot longer before they end up having a baby. And why? Because the father's in the life. And so the first love of a girl should be her father before it be another man outside of that. About time she grows up, she's yearning for the attention of a man. And this is what happens. And so when a boy grows up without a father, he doesn't see a fatherly figure and how he treats his mother. So if a boy grows up without a father, it has nothing to weigh it against to know how to be a man. The same thing as a girl growing up without a father. She has nothing to measure a boy up to know what a man is. Her first ideal of a man must first come from the daddy. If daddy's not there, how does she know how to pick a man? This is why you're having a lot of babies out of wedlock, because women are choosing men that are just fuck boys. And all they just want to do is have sex with them. And they want to put a fucking condom on. And now you left raising that baby by yourself because you chose a fuck boy. Now, the fuck boy issue is that he didn't have a father to teach him how to be a man, to teach a queen how to be a queen, even though if she wasn't one, teach her how to be one and treat her like one, and not run up in her vagina, in and out of her vagina, just dropping sperm in there without an intention to build a future with her. So it's really a two-party thing. But you're right. It really starts with the men. It really starts with the men. If men be responsible for their children, stop running around here just chasing ass and try to build you a family, maybe this will kind of slow down and stop the behaviors of young boys running around here without daddies, knowing how to treat a woman, and then they mistreat women and just want to have sex with them.
Exactly. And you know, and that right there, you know, you've got to discern the difference between, you know, Uncle Michon talks about this, between a male and a boy. You know, you've got to discern the difference between them, you know, but you're right. But that's the thing. She chose that fuck boy, right? You know, and she
chose that fuck boy because she didn't have a father to teach her how to choose a man.
Exactly.
Exactly.
So I mean, what you're talking about is a perpetual, you know, issue. That's a perpetual cycle that's a round and round, over and over type thing situation.
It is the father that is the nucleus of the family that holds that family together. The father demeanor, the father's presence plays a great role in the boy and the girl. It plays an intention. And here's what's interesting. Pay attention to this. If you women are pregnant and you have a disdain feeling towards men, You may be mad at the father who's not there no more while you're going through your pregnancy. You're pissed at him. You know how you women get when you're pregnant, right? Man, if he ain't there, you are mad at man, you are mad at that man, and you are mad at all men. I've seen women have the ugliest opinion of men, and they have sons. And I feel for that son, because that son, the last thing he wants to grow up and be would be a man. So guess what he's going to grow up and be? Because you continue to have that disdain feeling towards men, and that shit got all the way down to that boy. And what the lady said was right. And here's another issue. If a boy sees men coming in and out of his mama's bedroom growing up, he's 2, 3, 4, 5 years old. He's seeing different men coming in and out of that bedroom. Guess what? He either grow up not trusting no women and end up being gay himself, or he looked at his black mother and said, I don't want a black woman. I'm going to get me a white one because you're not to be trusted. So we got to pay attention to the psychology of what environment we raise these kids in.
And you know, I mean, people aren't thinking about the importance of that when they're pregnant. You know, y'all just sometimes I feel like women just thinking they holding a baby in there and there's nothing, you know, they just supposed to eat and then go to the hospital and push this baby out. No, there's a whole gamut of things that are going on, most of which is yet and still that baby is a sponge, even as they're in the womb. And as we've learned from Brother John Yah in the 3rd trimester, right? We're talking, is it theta wave? The brain is in a theta wave state. Right. Yeah. So that's the same state of mind that you're in when you're sleeping, right? When an adult is sleeping, is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
So that's the reason why, you know, myself and others may do things like play affirmations at night while we sleep, because we want to get that into our subconscious. When you're in that state of mind, then you're absorbing those things into that subconscious. So that's why I think it's important when I've talked to some people and say, listen, your child should not have the TV on at night, because that dumb box ain't gonna do nothing but play stupid commercials and all type of dumb stuff. And in that child's subconscious, they will be wanting those things later or reenacting those things later down the road, you know, as those seeds get planted into their subconscious. So be intentional about what your kids are watching or listening to at night as they go to sleep. And for yourself, you know, if you want to sit there and play, you know, whatever dumb shoot 'em up, bang, bang, you know, pop pills rapper while you sleep, well, guess what? That's you're gonna be reenacting that later down the road. So those things are important. So it's the same when the baby is there. That's why it knows the voice of its mother. That's why it knows the voice of its father, because it can literally hear and think in the womb there. So if it can hear and understand the voice of its mother and father, then obviously when it comes to voices of different men coming in and out the home, even while she's pregnant, she could be 2-3 months pregnant, not really showing much. And, you know, they still trying to get the kitty, right? You know, with that in mind, everything that's going on, fights, getting cussed out, you know, called a bitch, whatever the case may be, all that stuff that's going on, that baby is hearing. And it's sad because the baby's innocent. It ain't even born yet. And it's got to be subjected to some bullshit
before it even come out the womb.
Before it even come out the womb, it's got to be, that's what, you know what, maybe that's why babies cry when they come out the womb. They're like, I really don't want to get out here because this shit is some bullshit. I don't want to be here. I'm sorry. So wow.
Think about it. If you could choose who you want your parents to be, would you choose 2 broke ones? Would you choose one that ain't gonna be around? Would you choose one that will put you up for adoption? You say, hell no, I don't want to be in the womb of this mama here. She don't know what the hell she's doing. No, I don't want to have a daddy like this. We would choose better parents if we had a choice to choose, right? I know damn well we would choose wealthy parents. We would, you know, it's
interesting though, because people say that, you know, I'm glad she chose us, or I'm glad he chose us, you know. Yeah. And it makes you wonder, do people really get a choice because if they did get a choice, and then maybe it is a choice, but you know, it's like a game show or something, you know, you know, that you hide everything about that person. You just get to see their faces and you be like, they look all right, I'll choose them. Then you get there and find out, these motherfuckers are broke, they're assholes. He hates women, she hates men, all they do is fight, and they can't never save enough money to buy anything more than a pair of Jordans, right? So, I mean, I don't know. You know, I do believe we are spiritual beings. Maybe we started in that spirit realm before we got here, but you know, I don't know when we get to figure out what the reality of anything is. But you're right. If you had a choice, you wouldn't choose two broke, retarded ass people to go and be your parents. Not at all.
I'm sorry,
so,
you wouldn't. But
so this is the Uncle Michon, male versus a man. A male is a fun boy or a fuck boy, basically. He looks for shelter, food, and only wants sex. Not in that order. A man prioritizes the food, the fun, shelter, and sex by him having a specific plan. A man has a plan for his life, family, and future.
That's a fact.
Absolutely.
That's a fact. That's a man.
And that's right. And that's right. You know, and I can be honest. You know, I've played a little bit when I was younger. And as I got older, you know, decided to have a family. I'm divorced. I realized I could have been a better husband. You know, I learned some things in that marriage. And now as I'm looking, you know, and most people who get divorced are going to be like, I don't want to get married again. But when you find that one, you get to that space where you say, okay, I think I can do it again. This person is the one that's making me feel like I actually want to join that union with them again. And, you know, you talk about it a lot, John. You know, one of the things that people should be looking for is someone that they are in alignment with. And in alignment would mean that, you know, you guys are, you know, if you into business, well, you know, she ain't got to be into your type of business, but she should be thinking about business as well. She should be business minded as well, or in some way, shape, or form, valiantly supportive of your business, whether it be coming to help you from time to time when need be, or whether it be being your cheerleader and taking care of things at home, so that while you out there focusing on running that business, which you're doing in order to create a better life for you, her, and the family, that she can, you know, help to have some things ready for you when you come home or whatever, you know. But either way, it should be a team type of effort moving forward. And both of you should be wanting to move forward together, move up, forward and up together. So, you know, looking for somebody in alignment, you got to step outside of the, oh, she's cute or, oh, he's cute realm and start looking at things a little bit differently. I know a lot of my brothers, you know, my homies, we talk about looking at them on paper, right? They might look good in person, but look at them on paper and see how they look. You know, do they still look good on paper? Meaning, what are their credentials? What's their backgrounds? What they got going on with their life? What goals do they have? Things of that nature. You know, look at them on paper to see. And women, y'all need to be doing the same. You know, that's how you're going to not end up with the fuck boys. Is you got to do the same. You got to look at these guys on paper. You know, I've heard someone before state, don't date potential. Now, you know, if potential, you know, I mean, that's a catch-22, because, you know, some women date a brother in school. He's the best football player. He's definitely got chances on going to the NFL, and they dating him knowing in the back of their mind, yeah, I love him, but hey, he's about to be this great football player, you know, right? But the question is, if you're in alignment with each other, if he doesn't become that great football player, or if he breaks his leg and can't play, are you still going to be there? You know, that's the alignment part.
Here's what's interesting. When you talk about, I heard a conversation about, do men date women? Do women date men based on how much money they make? Is it about the money? It's very interesting.
I don't think women do that anymore. Well, you know what? I put it this way. I think there's different classes of people. and I think that there's other classes where women still do date based. Well, I won't say based on the money, but if he's handsome, treats her nice, this, that, and the other, but he works at McDonald's, she may not see a future with him, right? So I don't know. I think there's still women out there like that kind of use the money factor as a governing idea of dating.
I think that it is extremely important, and nothing wrong with dating a man that has potential, that has the ability to attract money. Here's why I say that, and let me point to and I'm going to find the name of this species of birds that I love. I got to get the name of these species of birds. So there's a female bird that will go into a tree. All the male birds are following her. She'll go sit in a tree. All the birds will come to that tree. All the male birds will come to that tree. She'll leave the tree after she sits in the tree for a few minutes. Then she'll leave. The male birds will begin to build a little nest. It's round. They'll put flowers on it. They'll make it strong. When she comes back, she'll come back and she will try to tear up the nest. She'll look at it, bounce on it. But the one that she goes inside, because all the male birds are waiting, right? They waiting to get somebody. They waiting to build a family. The one where she goes inside, that's the one she wants to mate with. Now, why is that? What that bird is saying, the female bird is saying, I'm going to lay with someone who I am sure that we can produce and you can protect what we create. That you have the ability to build a damn house. What is wrong with a woman wanting a man that can build a damn house? You know, what is wrong with wanting a man that has a future, that has an ideal? Yeah, you can date a guy at McDonald's, but if he ain't talking future plans, you're dating a guy at McDonald's. That's all.
And I think that's the important part, is what are his future plans? What type of thoughts does he have on a daily about moving forward? Right. You know, if all he's doing is waking up and you know, going to work and coming home watching TV, and there's no future plans or anything about moving forward, about elevating, about y'all moving up and out, then, you know, I don't know. I don't think that that's a person to you know, gauge your whole life with, right? Because that person's not thinking about moving up and out. That person's not thinking about moving forward. But here's something interesting, John. So, you know, my dad, you know, my mother died in 2015. My dad came home. He cried for 2 weeks. He came to me. He said, "Joe, I can't cry no more. I'm all cried out. You know, I got to get up and get back out there." Right. So he ends up a year later finding and marrying a doctor. Right. She was a nurse practitioner at the time. Now, you know, my dad is a very positive minded person. That's where I get it from. So, you know, he helped her, nudge her. She helped nudge him. Right. So with that in mind, then she became a doctor. She got her doctorate after they were together. Right. And with that in mind, he's privy to all these doctors and whatnot in their friend community. He said, "Joe, these beautiful female surgeons and doctors and whatnot, they are married to regular average guys. you know, because a lot of them are just looking for a good man. They're just looking for someone to treat them, to be honest and hold true to the vows and just a good quality man that's going to, you know. So he's like, these men, they don't have the type of income that they have. They don't have the type of income that these female doctors and whatnot have. You know, they don't make as much money. They don't have exorbitant jobs and things of that nature. They're just regular average men because these women are just looking for good men. And I find that to be quite interesting when we start talking about the whole money dynamic, because, you know, it's just interesting how, you know, sometimes we think that it's got to be all about the money. If she's a doctor, then she's looking for a guy. You know, my dad's an IT professional for Miami-Dade County Public Schools. You know, he doesn't make what his wife makes. But she loves the crap out of him. I mean, they just got this love thing that I admire so much, as how they talk, how they, you know, if you stand around there and you hanging with them, you're gonna hear a few times say, "Oh, Joseph," because, you know, he might be kissing on her, you know, saying sweet nothings in her ear or whatever. They just got this love thing that just continues and keeps going, and it's beautiful. So, you know, but she makes more than him.
Here's a question I've always asked. Here's a question I always ask for a man. If every man, if you answer this question, it's very interesting. If you was a woman, would you date you?
That's interesting. That's an interesting thought.
If it's a no, then you're questionable. If you wouldn't date your own damn self,
exactly.
What the fuck, right? Hey, listen, there's and I used to ask a lot of Muslim brothers that, you know, if you was a woman, would you date you? And every one of them said, hell no. I said, oh, okay, and there you go then. But listen, here's an interesting subject, and I know we didn't get to talk about, is this teaching of anal sex in schools.
Yeah, I was trying to figure out what you sent that to me. That was the Roland Martin.
Man, there is something going on right now, and this is what we're talking about: sex. We're talking about we're oversexed, we're hyposexed. Everything's about sex, and so now they're wanting to teach children as young as, I believe, the 5th grade, 10 years old, about anal sex.
Well, I mean, I think it was a book that was in the library, and in that book, on one of the pages, there was some talk of anal sex in that book. You know, now to the point of the lady that did the rant, they did remove the book from all the libraries or something like that. But with that in mind, they did remove the book, and so it's interesting when you think about that, because, you know, yeah, it was why, how did that slip by, or did it slip by, or did someone intentionally plant it there? Because you got overseers and all this stuff for every book and everything that comes through, or you're supposed to, right?
There is something going on we're not paying attention to.
Mm-hmm.
And it's happening right up under our noses. And there's this thing that, let me tell you something. It's very interesting. So let's take the word lesbian. And let's say you got a 5-year-old kid that asks you, hey, Dad, what is a lesbian? How can you explain what a lesbian is without referring to sex? How?
Man, I don't know. Boy B, girl B. You know, girl B likes the girl B.
If you're talking to a child that asks what a lesbian is, you first have to say, where's 2 women? And then the child goes, okay, 2 women together. What does that mean? I say, I see 2 women all the time together. What does that mean, lesbian? You don't want the child going, oh, 2 women, lesbian. So now you got to explain two women having sex. Now the child goes, well, what is sex? You see how depth it goes into the psychology? You can't explain less. So when you want to sit there and people who are gay, LGBTQ, XYZ, want to teach this behavior in school, and then you got to teach sex. So here's what's interesting. Now they're wanting to teach anal sex to children in school. And let me first say this is really sick.
Now, I mean, are they really wanting to teach that?
Oh, yeah. This ain't new. This is what the LGBT is trying to do, is teach about anal sex and the importance of anal sex to children. Here's the problem, and here's where the sicko comes in at. And this is what so parents, hey, right now, if you got your kids in the room, you may want to get them out the room because I'm getting ready to go in for a second. And so here's what's interesting, and I'm only going to give you the science, and anybody on here that wants to, come on, we'll send you a stream and come on here and we can talk about it. But I want you to pay attention to something. Anal sex. Now, first of all, the word sex actually came from the word sexual intercourse. And so I'm going to contain this. Two men can't have sex. I don't care a damn how you can put that together. Two men cannot have sex. They cannot have a sexual intercourse. Here's why. Everyone only has one sex organ. You don't have two. So sexual intercourse means putting two sex organs together. So two men can't have sex. What are y'all doing? Slapping penis together? That ain't sex. That's ejaculation. There's a difference. The anus is not a sex organ. I don't care how much you enjoy it. It is not a sex organ. In fact, the anus is only for pushing your waist outwards. Nothing is supposed to go inside the anus. It only is designed to push out waste. If you continue to have sex in your anus, or if you continue to push a penis in your anus, guess what will happen when you break those muscles, those thousands of muscles around the anus that hold you and hold your stool in while you're waiting to go to the restroom? You will be the grown man wearing Depends. You will be a grown-ass man wearing diapers because you tore up the muscles of the anus. Now you can't hold your shit anymore. So pay close attention. The anus is not a sex organ. Only people who are pervertedly gay don't want to hear this. They believe their anus is a sex organ, and it's not. Your mouth ain't a sex organ. Your ears not a sex organ. Your eyes are not a sex organ. I'm sorry to tell you that. You only have one sex organ. Every human being only has one. So why are they wanting to teach anal sex to children? Doesn't make any sense.
So I'm trying to see if I can screen.
I don't know if I said too much there for your ears, but that's a fact.
I think you're good. I'm trying to. I want to share. See if I can share. Let's see. Let me see if this will work here. And let's see. Add to stream. Oh, okay. So we didn't added this. All right, so let's see if this works or not. If let's see, can we hear it?
You got the what's your name open? I think. Okay. Okay. You got you
open
up.
The volume.
You get ready to play the.
Yeah, I was trying to play the video here.
Yeah, I see it.
Can we hear it at all? You
barely.
Okay. All right.
You can barely hear it.
All right. So
in fact, I think I froze up.
Okay. I think I need to.
Yep, I froze up. The video's playing, but I can't hear it. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Yeah. So I tell you what, I'm gonna try this again. Let's see, how do I stop share? Okay, there we go. All right, so let's try this again because I saw something. Share screen, and then share, and then it says share system audio. Share screen 3. So let me try now to see if it will.
Cornhole, which came into use.
There we go.
Means to have.
You can hear it, but can't see it.
Well, I'm just
okay, hold on 1 second.
The ability to.
Okay, there we go. I'm learning.
Make a mask mandate. Instead, I was going to talk about the need for a second high school, but I was sidetracked by, for the boys, or the idea of, a Mexican is a Mexican is a Mexican. Take her out back, we boys figured, then hand on the put it in her coin box, put it in her cornhole, grab a hold of that braid, rub that calico. You can find that on page 39 of the book called Out of Darkness, which you can find at Hudson Bend Middle School and Bee Cave Middle School. All right, not gonna lie, I had to Google cornhole because I have the game in the back of my yard. But according to Wikipedia, cornhole is a sexualist slang vulgarism for anus. The term came into the use in the 1910s in the United States as verb form to cornhole, which came into usage in the 1930s, means to have anal sex. I do not want my children to learn about anal sex in middle school. I have never had anal sex. I don't want to have anal sex. I don't want my kids having anal sex. I want you to start focusing on education and not public health.
Stone, you're on.
Look, they muted her mic.
Yeah.
Yeah, so interesting there.
Listen, people gotta be able to not be afraid to stand up. And even with this, even what's going on with Corona and everything, you're seeing people starting to stand up and fight back. In other countries, people are starting to stand up and fight back. I was loving the fact about Canada. Some of the police officers stood together and they said they was not going to push the mandate on people. And I'm going to tell you, this is very interesting. If you leave your children a world where you never stood up, they may inherit a world where they can't stand up. So it's important that we keep our voice, we keep using this constitutional rights. One of the things that this fell on, getting these shots mandatory. The reason why I can say I love this country is because of the Constitution that we have. The First Amendment is what's blocking them to come full out and just force people into these shots, right? The First Amendment, people can claim religious exemptions that you cannot do this to me. The right for me to speak out, the right for me to speak up and against it. All of these things are afforded to me in the Constitution. Right. And so this is why we don't have that push, because the Constitution is still standing and we can depend on that Constitution.
And those that focus on enforcing the Constitution are those that are seeing action and getting things done. You know, we as a community, we keep the sob story going of this Constitution ain't for us because this country ain't for us. Blah, 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 blah. Well, if you keep that story going, then ultimately we're not going to find power in utilizing the same laws that everyone else has the ability to use. We won't find power there because we continually sit back and say, this ain't for us. So, you know, you've got to, at some point, make a decision. You know what? I need a country to back me up. Okay. I got some Jamaican blood in me. You know, I can sit and I can talk a little patois and I say I full carry that though. So, you know, I can do that. But Jamaica ain't coming to my back if I'm in trouble somewhere. You know, I don't have Jamaica's Constitution to back me up with. So with that in mind, we've got to get to a point to where we say, you know what, this is the country I live in. This is the country I've grown up in. So this is the country that I'm going to have to utilize to have my back as things are going on. And I'm going to have to hold this country. And as I hold this country accountable, that means that you cannot do this, that, or the other to me haphazardly whenever you want, because the Constitution says you cannot. And so we as a people are going to have to get to a point to where we are studying law, studying the Constitution, studying, even learning about white supremacy for those that don't find certain things common sense, right? So that you can get out here and get the things that you want, get the things that you need, move in the way you need to move, so that you can make things happen for yourself and your family. You can leave a legacy and create generational wealth. Folks, this is what we're talking about. This is what needs to be done. This is what we're trying to do. You've got to stand up for things that are not right. So that goes all the way back to the conversation about the snitches. You've got to stand up for things that are not right. I wish somebody would call me a snitch. I'll bust you in your chest. So, I don't care. If you are messing with my property value, if you are devaluing my neighborhood, if you are putting my kids in harm's way, I'm going to come and harm you and make sure that that does not happen. These are the men that we need once again in the community that can stand up and aren't afraid to go over to Mr. Drug Dealer's house and, hey, listen, this ain't the 30s. You can carry a gun. You can legally go get registered. All right. So, you need to put that in your waistband as you walk over to the drug dealer's house and say, hey, bro, we're going to have to figure something out. Because all this action you got going on, I see the police coming up in here and in droves one day, and that may put my family in harm's way. All right. So you're going to have to go find you a hut out in the middle of the woods and start having your community of people come serve, come handle your serves out there. But right here, right now, I'm trying to protect my family.
Right.
If you're going to stay there. Right. Or move the fuck out. I mean, one of the two. But I don't know, man. Either way, there's a lot of interesting conversation. Today was a good show. What'd you think about it?
It was great, man. I loved it. Definitely love when people calling in with their concern. I love that sister calling in and breaking that point in. Definitely. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, great show. Great show.
Absolutely, man. So appreciate it. Shout out to Adori Gatling. Appreciate you just the same. Again, Vanessa, we appreciate you just the same. Once again, Uncle Michon, we appreciate you. Biz Buzz, Miss Anitra, we appreciate you. Veronica Logan, hey, shout out to you. We appreciate you bringing that convo to the table. Kari Muhammad, brother, we appreciate you. I know you don't like shout outs. I ain't seen you in a minute, so it's good to see you once again, brother. Layla, sis, Queen sis, we appreciate you. Just the same, Miss Myers, Phyllis Myers, we appreciate you. And weirdly enough, where in the world did some comments get erased? Where's Frank Stoner and all that? Well, appreciate you too, Frank Stoner. I don't know what happened, but comments is disappearing. Either way, we appreciate everybody's support, and we thank you. Thanks again, Miss Vanessa. Fantabulous show. Shout out to your event that's coming up October 9th. Folks, I'm gonna spit that once again. We got Sayababa, SYABABA.com. That's our BB2Me trading company. They're in over 400 locations at a store near you. When you see the Sayababa and Soap Sticks products brand of incense, then that is Brother John Yah. So when you're supporting that, then what you're doing is that prison reform program that he used to do and is bringing back once again, you're supporting that once again. So you're supporting that program just the same. So, you know, and John, you're a person who gives and does a lot for different people in the community. So when you guys are seeing his products in stores, Saya Baba and Soap Sticks products, you're supporting the ventures that he does with Layla and her homeschooling program. You know, when he gave money to was it Play Cousins, and their program, you know, you're supporting that when you go and you purchase his products. He's literally got the best incense around. So I mean, it's really not hard to support that when it's a great product. And the fact that he actually takes time to govern people's attitude that work for him, to make sure that they are positive minded as they work for him. He won't let people put their hands on his product if they are not in a positive mindset they're working for him. So because we talk a lot about energy and how that goes into the product. So, you know, you're supporting that. When you talk about Frank Stoner and the things that he does in the community as well, I've seen him in different places giving talks and setting up tables to showcase product, trying to introduce more people, especially more people that look like us, to a different lifestyle. You're supporting that when you go purchase his products. Again, that's healthdaddywow.net. Okay. And you can, you know, hit him up locally here in Louisville, Kentucky, 502-290-7697. You can call them up, 502-290-7697. They got everything from you know, products for your herbal accessories to ladies. I know a lot of them getting in tune with their African roots and checking out these waist beads and stuff like that. They got them over there. And, you know, I was there the other day and they got a lot of dope stuff. I went and grabbed a couple things from them. So again, healthdaddywow.net, and remember, godslivesmatter.com. You can check them out as well. They are yet again another supporter. And when it comes to this event that Miss Vanessa has going on, this is the I'm gonna say this before we go. It is it's a women's fellowship tea party. All right, and that's coming up October 9th from 2 p.m. to 6 p.m. Sunday, church hats, pearls, and tea. Now, one thing she wanted me to stress to people, remember, you have to wear hats. I guess, you know, y'all sisters, y'all remember the churches with the big hats and all that. So you got to wear a hat, and you cannot wear pants. But that does not mean you can come up in there with just a hat on. All right, ladies, you cannot walk up in there with just a hat on because I said no pants. No, that means you got to wear a skirt or a dress or something with that beautiful hat that you walk up in there. That's going to be October 9th from 2 p.m. to 6 p.m. As well. And again, today's giveaway was brought to you by Broadway Fashion at 1827 West Broadway. All right. So shout out to the young lady who won those tickets, and we'll give away some more of those tickets next week as well. Any last points you want to make before we go, bro?
No, that's it. Again, for those of you who are interested in the prison reform program, reach out to Khalid at 502-224-6135, and he will set up a package for you or whoever it is you know that just got out of prison. Just have them reach out to Khalid.
And just to recap that program, that's a program where a person can come. They can come right out of jail, right? And this is just as you did, right? They can come right out of jail. They can come to you guys. They will get a free package of product that is worth $100 when they sell it for the retail price that you give them to sell it for, right? Yeah. You know, I assume if they can sell it for more than that price, then hey, more power to them.
More power
you know what I mean? Yeah. It's just more money for them. But for the price, that retail price that you give them, then they will make $100, right? So that's again, that is a free package there for a person. This is a prison reform program. Now they can take that $100 and they can bring it right back to you, right? And then they can potentially, or not potentially, but they can actually take that same $100 and get $500 worth of retail value product, right?
Correct.
So hey, if somebody's hard up for cash, hey, maybe you can take, and correct me if I'm wrong, maybe you can take 50 from that 100, go take care of something you need. Maybe you need some food or something like that, and then take that other 50, right? Left over from that first 100. Can they come and get $250?
No, they have to. No, they have to, because we have $100 minimum. So what we're doing is, because we have $100 minimum in wholesale, we're giving you $100 to come back to us, to take that $100, and then you will get $500 worth of product. Then you go out there. Now you can make 500. Now you can bring back another 100, keep 4, bring out another 100, and get another $500 worth of product where you keep your 4 and you put it away or spin it, whatever you want to do.
Or
so
you can keep 3
right,
and take $200 and come and get $1,000 worth of retail value product.
Exactly.
Right.
You can build up that way.
You can keep $200 and take 3 and bring it to y'all and get $1,500 worth of retail value product. Correct. So, folks, that's a dope program. And I mean, how long do you think it takes a person to sell that $100 retail value worth of product?
Hey, I stood on the corner. I stood on the corner and would make $100 to $150 in 2 hours. Stand on the corner selling an incense $1 a pack. How many cars can you meet is the question. How many people can you meet in your journey? That's the question. I used to know a brother that used to work for me. He wouldn't take pay. He would take it in oils and incense. And everywhere he went, backpack full of oils and incense, and he would double and triple his money. Right? So you can get a leg up, but you got to put a work in. And so we have $100 minimum with anybody that purchased from us, because we wholesalers, right? So we're giving you $100 to make, so that you can come and be on the purchasing level and purchase this product, and then you can yield 4 times that much in what you're going to spend. So it's definitely a leg up if you want to really put in the work.
Absolutely. So, I think that's a very dope product, man. And what's great is, when it comes to success, and I look and you look at a lot of successful people out there, giving is a part of how they continue to be successful.
Exactly.
So more power to you for this giving program, and appreciate you, bruh. Folks, next week, check us out once again, right here, same place, same time, WLOUonline.com or 104.7 FM for the first hour of the show. We get it in with a potential 150,000 listening audience on WLOU. So we will see you again next week. Well, shout out. Peace.
Peace, brother.
Morning
All
show.
Right.
I see you, bro.
All right.
You are listening to The Tipping Point Show with your host, Mr. Just Ask Joe, John Yeh. Right here on WLOU. Stream it live on Facebook and WLOUonline.com. And now, The Tipping Point Show.